Oh yes, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions News. It's your Friday edition. Thank God it's Friday edition of the news. Let's jump into the stories at large. Our first story begins with the likeness and imagery that we now see for Annihilus. So it's pretty exciting to see the way that they're kind of going with this, which in some ways for me, every time I see the character, it makes me and reminds me of the old school version of Ultron. But still, it's kind of cool to see this. It's basically a big bug with some technical advancements. And we're all thinking whether or not this would be tech or cosmic. And also Kabam has put together this little post here. There's just a bit more information about the character. And I should really say in a South Park manner, they took my job! They took my job! Because South Park references are funny. In other news, it looks like there's a little bit of support around this particular post, which is a poll all about Save the Rhino Day. And as you know, Kabam in the past have done things for different things. I think they've done something for blood and cancer. I think they've done something for World Wildlife Federation. I still find that difficult to say because I'm all about the WWF, World Wrestling Federation. Suck it. But depending on where your thought processes are, I'd like to see Kabam do a little bit more charity stuff and those kind of charity things, some charity deals from time to time. I would get involved with that. I think I'd really like to kind of like pay my money if I knew that it was then going towards a good fund at the same time. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Kabam should be doing a little bit more charity work? Do you think that Rhino should be buffed? Have your say on the forum post, link is in the description below, or have your say in the comment section. Next up is Marvel Insider. If you haven't put in the notifications that you've done heroic, normal and beginner, this is your reminder. Go do it, because otherwise you're going to lose out on some points. Next up, an epic difficulty Nick Fury in this week's initiatives. Recon initiatives, that is. Yeah, it's come with a bit of complaints, or a few complaints have come through about the state of the way that the geezer performed. And he seems to be a bit OP to some, to others, manageable. Now, I used Domino. I tried to get the fact that I didn't want to get those tactical charges up too much, so it was mutant-based champions. Domino was probably the main champion that I used. Sabretooth, I've got a 5-star and a 6-star, so I consider myself very fortunate, but I did make mistakes. I was feeling pretty scuffed that evening that I did it, but the fact is, still got it done. However though, some people may struggle at that point, and intercepts may be not the best thing, especially when you're considering that some devices aren't good as others to run the game. In particular, a lot of people do say that Androids and iOS do change a little bit. I always say that the strongest Android, or kind of most recently released Android, is usually best, usually between like 1 year, and most iPhones have about 2 to maybe 3 years of the push shelf life before they start feeling some sort of drops in performance. I've heard good things about Gwenpool and also about Luke Cage, so it is good to see that there's different champions, not just about mutant champions being used, but I did rate using mutant champions based on tactical charges being reduced down by mutant champions. So up to you what champions you use. Good luck in your grind, and hopefully the intercepts are good as well. Next up, and what are the chances of us seeing an event quest that is Cavalier Difficulty? Some think it's possible, others not so much. Cavalier Difficulty is meant to be a little bit of a step up, not a big jump up. The same way that Master to Uncollected was indeed and felt like a step up. Now either way, I'm a bit kind of like unsure about this, and it would be interesting to see if Kabam would ever consider something of a new difficulty being put in. I think for the time being it's fine, because Kabam keep on adding in like these little kind of side quests and stuff, like event quests, like variant and other things that go on in event things, and monthly dungeons are still pushing. If it was the case they didn't want to push that and take it away, maybe they'll do a new type of arena, like a 5-star basic at a later date. Who knows? But either way, I just don't see it personally going in, and I think a lot of people do feel the same way, that it just wouldn't really feel Cavalier Difficulty would be quite so much of a jump up, and I don't think we really would like to see it anytime soon. Next up, and a very weird thing happened, and that was yesterday. We received a thank you message. Thank you for playing Marvel Contest of Champions. Very peculiar to see something like this, but at the same time, it is very much greatly received. Do also bear in mind that you were getting a type of package that was attributed to what you've actually done in game. So if you haven't done certain types of content, you're not going to get anything too substantial. A lot of people that have done the uncollected difficulty and other types of content would have indeed got this here. So they would have got a 5-star crystal and all the lovely alliance-based stuff to boot, which is helpful for the grind. And the kind of wording that was in the message was kind of odd, but it's the kind of way of saying, we're sorry, but the game's saying sorry to you rather than us saying sorry to you. Either way, I think it was very much well received. This was a good move by Kabam. They haven't exactly had the best March, especially the start point of March. And really up until the last week, it's been filled with a lot of negativity and not exactly the best relationship between consumer and then the developer. Some people got some average things, some people got some good things, but the fact is, for those that didn't get something new that maybe wasn't that good, do bear in mind, think positively, you can do something with your arena grind, and maybe they could help for a synergy. Remember, Act 6.1, we need a lot of 5 stars. But also there's been a bit of speculation on like this image here, because as you can see, there's a lot more decent things. Well, I say a lot more, there's 2 things that are decent. 5-star generic and the 6-star basic. Man, I think we all would have loved that. Whether or not this is a true image or whether or not this is maybe for somebody that is incredibly grinding out. I'm talking like past Cavalier class. I'm talking like every single bit of content done, maybe extensive alliance placement. Dunno. Either way, how are you feeling towards Kabam on this? I mean, everyone seems to be very thankful, which is the main thing, but does it help you kind of like smooth over things for the time being, or you're kind of like waiting for the next thing that could make you just rile up in anger? And on that note, that has been the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Friday, the 29th of March 2019. If you enjoyed today's news, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. Have your say on anything we discussed in the comments section below, or go to the links in the description as well. And finally, I leave you with a stream highlight from last night, and that is the 5-star crystal opening of what I got from the thank you message. Have a good one and enjoy. There we go. That's what I wanted to take off. I wanted to take off that image so we could see this down here. Come on, be something good, please. No! Oh, friggin'. Thanks, but no thanks, Kabam. Thanks, but no thanks. That's a big oof from me. That's a big oof from me.